Looking at adding Gujarat fluorochemicals, would you say that this is a good buy at this point, Mr. Prabhakar, on the fundamentals, on the valuations?
See, Gujarat Fluoro, no, it is a holding company also. They have this Inox or PVR, I'm not very sure. They are a holding company also. But chemical business, yes, they are doing very good. But we don't track it very closely, so I won't be able to comment on whether to buy or hold. There are other preference for us. If if he is ready to listen, then we can throw a few other stocks like Tata Chemical. Now the valuation is very attractive at current level. If you're looking at that, now you have Ami Organic, which is looking very attractive. Valiant Organics. So there are many chemicals which are looking very good.
From Malta, and she's bought, I believe, Tata Elxsi at a price of 7,600 rupees per share. Wants to know whether she should go ahead and sell this counter and look to buy Titan or Asian Paints. What's your take on this one, Kunal? Do you think that strategy would make sense right now, given the pressure on tech?
So, Cheryl, it's an interesting pick because Tata Elxsi has been a class outperformer from the mid-cap IT space. Now, you look at the last 3 months of chart patterns at a time when the mid-cap IT, large-cap IT were at the front of some sharp selling. Tata Elxsi managed to stay put. In fact, I think it made a fresh high about the 9,000 mark just about a month and a half out back. And now the stock is still much above its 200-day moving average, trying to absorb a correction. So, relatively, Tata Elxsi has been one of the better performing stocks. Now, when you try and compare this with the other names, Titan, etc., these stocks have been big underperformers, much below their 200-day moving averages. So, I think it's much better that you buy strength in this market and stay with strength. And I think in that regards, I would suggest to hold Tata Elxsi compared to the other names.
Okay. We've got a question from Raj, and he's asking about a couple of stocks. The first one is Motherson Sumi, and the second one is Aptus Value Housing Finance. The question is to you, Mr. Prabhakar. On either of these two, do you have a view? I'm guessing Motherson Sumi, certainly. He's holding both. He's asking whether he can hold for the long term. Motherson, he's gotten at levels of 193.
Motherson Sumi, it is very difficult to track a company which has factories across the globe. So even Tata Motors, we don't track for that simple reason, because if it is an India-focused company, it is easy to track as analysts, and that gives us more input also. But when you are spread across the globe, then it becomes much more difficult to track a company. So we avoid the Motherson Sumi. There are other companies which are doing good in auto ancillaries. So Sonacom is one of our top picks in that space.
All right, this one is coming from KJ Singh, and L&T Technology is the counter that he's purchased at the price of around 5,000 rupees per share. He's a long-term investor. So right now he wants to know whether he should average or look to sell or wait for some more correction or to average. What's your take on this one, Kunal? 5,000 is the buy price for L&T Technology. Do you think that makes sense to average at these levels, or should KJ Singh wait, or some other strategy altogether?
So you can look to wait out for some more time, but I believe that price-wise, 3,200 could be a good point where you can look to start entering, because the indicators have started to get into a bit of a reversal mode. The only concern with these kind of stocks is that right now the IT pack overall is getting clobbered, so there could be more selling pressure over the near term. But price-wise, I think it's better that you have to set a strategy where you can look to buy or average in two set of tranches. One, you can start at maybe current levels of 3,200, 300, and the other, in case over the next 2 to 3 months, if the stock corrects and dips back by another 10 to 15%, that could probably bring the stock back towards 2,800 mark. That could be a point where you can look to average it out further.
All right, that's a view on L&T Tech. Happiest Minds is the next counter that we're talking about, focusing on. Nishita from Kerala is asking about this. She's holding at levels of 1270. And she's lost a little bit of ground. She's holding 35 shares, and she's holding, I believe, for at least 2 months now. What's the view, Kunal, on the charts? Should she hold on?
Well, I would suggest to hold on for some more time. Yes, the stock is reversed from its previous 52-week highs of, I think, 1,500 plus. But then I think this has gone with the entire theme of this new age kind of stocks, which have gone to some severe selling pressure. So I think in that regards, I would expect that maybe the stock would start to show signs of bottoming out closer to this current levels of 800, 900 for the stock. And I believe in that regards, I would suggest to hold on to it at least for some more time. Let the stock stabilize. There has to be a point where the stock gets into a sideways range. Then it makes sense to try and look at averaging the stock. As of now, hold, but possibly over the next couple of months, if the stock moves sideways and the volumes increases up higher, that could be a time where you can look to average further.
Okay, this one is coming from Neha Toteja, and she's currently looking to accumulate Affle and Praj Industries for the next 6 months in this correction. She wants to know whether it makes sense to go ahead with this sort of a strategy, as well as what sort of a level would be the right one for her to look to enter. What's your take, Kunal? Affle and Praj?
So Affle, I think closer to 800, 850 could be a good point where you can look to enter. That would mean that the stock has reversed its gains of 2021. And when you look at it from the all-time high levels of 1500, 1550, then it could be a decent correction of almost 40%, 50% for the stock price, and that could be a good starting point where you can look to enter. Praj Industries, on the other hand, I would be a bit on the sidelines, because the last few weeks we've seen many of these sugar and ethanol stocks getting a bit more under sharp selling pressure. So there has to be more correction which could be seen into the stock. I would probably expect if the stock comes to sub 250 levels, that's the level where you can look to start buying.
Okay, we've got a question coming in from Sushila, and she's writing in from Bellary in Karnataka. And if I understand this correctly, she's asking for a view on Tata Steel, and she's asking, once it splits, Mr. Prabhakar, should she add at that point?
See, so steel as a sector has been cyclic, and this time we had a rally which was beyond a point, but we need to understand the kind of debt they have reduced. I think it is very attractive. Another 10-15% correction you can buy. Stock split is just a corporate action. It doesn't make no big difference for us to buy as an investor. So I think Tata Steel, you can enjoy 51 rupees dividend also. Plus the valuation, if it corrects another 10-12%, it becomes very attractive for a long-term investor. So don't worry about stock split.
All right, and staying with Tata Group of Stocks, Mr. Prabhakar, this one is coming from Mitali Das, and she's asking, and I will read her question the way she's written. She's saying, given the current scenario, which Tata Group stock is the best for investment? And also, please, could you give me a fundamental view on Tata Investment Corp? What's your take on this one, Mr. Prabhakar? Among the Tata Group, which is the best stock that you think? Can you pick one, that is? And also, how is Tata Investment Corp?
See, Tata Investment is a holding company, so I like the stock, so that is different. But in Tata Group, I like many companies. Picking one would be slightly difficult, but if I have to pick at this current level, then Tata Chemical is looking very attractive to me. Post research, the stocks have corrected, and forward earnings, the stock is trading at 15 P. So I think at the current level, it is very attractive, and in the next 2 years, the management has said that no major capacity addition will not be there globally. So that means they have a niche, they have a visibility for next 2-3 years. So I think Tata Chemical is something I would like to buy for 2-3 years at current level.
I'd like to hear what you'd like to buy if Cheryl is not holding a gun to your head and telling you to pick just one Tata stock. But having said that, let's talk about Gopinath's question, and he's writing in from Mysuru, and he's asking about, he's saying basically, so I'm going to read it out as it is, right? Kunal, in this volatile market, I wish to know whether to hold shares of Infosys and HDFC Bank or to book profits.
So I think if you're making profits, then you should definitely look to, I would say, hold on, because I would sense that these are top quality companies and they're going through a rough patch on the very short term kind of a time scale. Whenever the market gets into a recovery phase, the recovery would be largely dependent on these large cap names, and we've seen that phenomenon happening so many times over the last so many years as well, that large cap stocks, they tend to recover first and they tend to act as more stronger pillars of the markets. So HDFC Bank also, I think in the morning I had covered in Chartbusters, it indicates that the stock is getting to a revival phase. So even if it's a near-term kind of a view, I would still expect that both these stocks should do reasonably well. I would suggest a hold.
Right. This one is coming from Amy, and this one is for you specifically, Kunal. She's saying VIX is negative today. Should I construe it as still not much fear in the markets and we can see a short covering bounce through Nifty Bank?
It could be possible. Good observation. So I've been tracking VIX since quite some time, and I think the level of 25 for VIX is a more important parameter. Now, the intraday selling pressure is of course based on the actions of the expiry. That's what I can construe. But then, if the VIX continues to remain below 25 mark, there is a higher possibility that the markets may form a near-term bottom. So possibly yes, there could be a wave of short covering or at least a short-term bottom in place.
Okay. Mr. Prabhakar, this is an interesting question because we have Aarti and she's she's saying that she has about 5 lakh rupees that she wants to deploy in the equity markets. She's a long-term investor and that has been the case consistently, I think, since the time that we've been doing this segment. Is this the right time to deploy and how would you go about deploying?
You see, any time is a good time in market, but if you understand the risk. And the important thing is, now we, in last 14 years, we have never had a major correction, but many things point out that this time, we might get into a deeper correction because it has been slow grind. Now, if you notice, almost we are in the 8th or 9th month of the corrective phase. I think it might continue for another 10 months. So it is better, if you have 5 lakh, each month like SIP, you can divide by 10 and you can do it so that you will have a better cost average. But buy quality companies. There are companies where visibility of 5-10 years is there. So you can buy many stocks like that. I like HDFC Life, Asian Paint. Yesterday started to correct. That is one more stock which we like. HDFC Bank, it is very attractive at current level. We mentioned about Tata Chemical, Titan, if it corrects, you can buy. So there are many stocks, which are value buy at current level. Now, even, I was doing a study. Now, LTI has come to a level which is at a 5 years average, PE average. So many stocks have become attractive, and if they correct more, it becomes even more attractive. So market normally creates excess on the downside when we see an excess on the upside. So it is better to do a SIP kind of thing so that we get a better pricing.
I hope all of our viewers have taken note of the valuable advice coming in from Mr. Prabhakar and also taken down all the stocks that he's actually mentioned which are looking attractive at this level. And like Mr. Prabhakar said, this is not that you need to time the market, but the time spent in the market is very crucial, especially in quality stocks, Alex, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
That is what
I have said it better.
And I believe that even Kunal would...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's futile to try and time these kind of moves in the markets, but then, if that's what we've been advising, so stick to quality, large cap names, that's much better.
Let's take the next question.
Right, and this one is coming from Mr. Natarajan Ramesh, and he wants an advice on gas distribution companies. He's saying that can he buy MGL, IGL or even Gujarat Gas for the longer term with a 2-year view, that is. What's your take on this one, Mr. Prabhakar, the city gas distribution companies?
Yeah, no, they are very attractive at current levels, but we need to understand till the price volatility is there. Now, these companies will not be, growing or making very good profit. So you, instead of 2 years, you need to have, 5-year view so that it is better. Now, this kind of volatility in gas price, we have never seen it. Now, in last 20 years, we have never seen it. We have seen a crisis in 2008 and even in 2000, 2003, but this kind of volatility in gas prices has never been there. So this is something different. So have a slightly higher time horizon, but this sector looks very attractive to me at current levels.
A number of you have written in your queries and we will take more. We have to slip into a short break. So Kunal as well as Mr. Prabhakar do stay with us and viewers do stay tuned as well. Know about your money, how to earn more, invest smartly and spend while getting the best bang for your buck.
From the perfect home to early retirement and everything in between.
Real estate, everyone knows, is an asset that Indians absolutely love, maybe even more than gold.
Join us every weekday at 5 p.m. on the ET Money Show. Investment made easy. Only on ET Now.
With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you asked, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
But if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge.
See, Nikunj, you're a very seasoned market observer, and therefore you may hit the nail on the head.
I think you have always kept the focus on the retail investor, and I think it's again a very apt, very good question.
Nikunj, first of all, thank you so much. You are one person I've always enjoyed interacting throughout last 15-20 years.
You know, the problem on coming on your channel is that you already know everything. I just heard your introduction. And what can anybody add to that?
Stock markets is a numbers game, and it sometimes does come across as one-dimensional. But what people don't see is that these numbers, when strung together, tell a story. There's no really black or white. It very much seems to be a work in progress of triumphs and mistakes, greed and fear. And I bring you that story behind the numbers in action.
The personal finance show that helps you achieve all your financial dreams.
This show gets you everything that you need to know about your money, how to earn more, invest smartly, and spend while getting the best bang for your buck.
From the perfect home to early retirement and everything in between.
Real estate, everyone knows, is an asset that Indians absolutely love, maybe even more than gold.
Join us every weekday at 5 p.m. on the ET Money Show. Investment made easy.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now, and we are in the midst of taking all of your queries. If you've got one for us, then you can send it to us on any one of our social media platforms or indeed on the WhatsApp number that's flashing on your screen. Now, if R.K. Ahuja is listening, then do tell us what other stocks apart from, you're saying 5 sugar stocks, but you've only mentioned Balrampur Chini and Renuka Sugars, and you've said etc. So I don't think that you can get a specific view from Mr. Prabhakar. But Mr. Prabhakar, what he's asking is that he's lost a lot of ground in the recent past. I think it has to do with the announcement of the cap of exports that is going to be kicking in this year. How do you rate the sugar sector overall, and would you say that somebody who is holding should continue holding?
Yeah, I don't think this is a very negative news. No? Yeah, headline is very negative. No, people think the cap is beyond that you cannot export, but we have never exported beyond that cap. If you take data for the last 10 years, so I don't think that is a worry. And when you listen to the management of most of the companies, they are diversified away from sugar to distilleries or ethanol, whatever you call it. and that is where their sugar production has come down. So I think government also needs to control inflation. So I don't think that will be very negative for sugar companies, because their profit comes from distillery, which is almost 35 to 40% profit margin. So no, if that is the case, then why we need to worry? I think Balrampur Chini, Tiruveni Engineering, Dalmia Sugar, all these are looking very attractive. They have posted very good results. And if the stock corrects, I would be a buyer there instead of worrying about it at this point of time. Bad news should be used to buy these stocks, because it was out of reach for the last 6 months or 8 months.
That's a view coming in from Mr. Prabhakar on the sugar pack. Mr. Prabhakar, this one is for you. This one is from Vivek, and he's asking about Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC. He's saying that he's purchased around 500 shares at around 700 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should exit or hold. And he's saying that he can hold on for the longer term if needed. No doubt that what's happening with the markets, how the scenario is. How does this particular AMC look to you, Aditya Birla Sun Life? Do you think that it makes sense for Mr. Vivek to stay put with his holding? Do you track this one?
See, AMC as a sector has been underperforming. Whenever we are in a difficult market, I think AMCs, even broking companies, correct the most. So we are almost in a likely bear phase of a market where AMC will correct. But if you are a long-term investor, do not worry too much about it, because this is part of a market. So AMC stocks, you take HDFC AMC, NAM India, or UTI AMC, everything has corrected more than 50%. This will happen to even Aditya Birla also. So I think these sectors react according to the market sentiment. Once the sentiment improves, then the rally will also start in this sector.
Kunal, I'm going to take this next one for you. Shravan is writing from Hyderabad, and he's asking about Zomato. I'm guessing that you have more data than you had earlier, of course. Can you talk about whether it can be bought for the long term at the current market price? If not this counter, would you suggest another one?
Not exactly a long term. The data is a lot more restricted. But then, the last week, I think, or last couple of days back, there was a very strong price action move for Zomato. The volume sprung up quite sharply, and you've seen the stock, moving up, I think, 10%, 12% on a single day. So that generally is a move, which indicates that the trend is about to reverse for stock prices. And then after 2 days, you see the stock getting into a mild correction. This is typically what we call as a mean retracement for stocks like Zomato. So initially, the move is where the prices and the volumes, move up significantly higher. Then you see a gradual cool off happening to the stock price, and then post that is we see a steady trend building up. So purely from a short to medium term play, I think it could be a good buy on dips given the last couple of days back of price action, and would expect the stock to at least come towards 75-80 levels over the near to medium term.
Right, this one is coming from Rancho Gupta, and this one is on LIC, and so this one is for you, Mr. Prabhakar. He was asking, do you think the PE ratio of LIC that is 170 plus is justified?
Now, last show also I've said I cannot talk on LIC. It is our parent's parent. So I belong to IDBI group, so I cannot talk about it.
I apologize for that. Totally slipped out of my mind. No problem. I'll take this next query then to you. This one is coming in from Mr. Dasaradi, and he wants to buy JSW. I believe is JSW. I'm unsure which JSW he wants to buy. But the buy price, he's saying, is around 27 rupees per share. So he wants to buy for the long term. I'm unsure which JSW it is actually. I will take some time to check on that. But
I think he's talking about JSW Ispat special products.
Yes, yeah, I believe that's the one that is. So do you track this one by any chance, JSW Ispat special?
No, we don't track this.
Kunal, do you track it by any chance?
Don't track it, but then the charts are also not encouraging. So I think the last 5-6 months, we've seen this stock also getting into a correction like most of these other metal names. So I think it's priced at 25 rupees, 25.5 at current levels. Again, at fresh 52-week lows as well as multi-year lows. So I would expect that it's better to try and switch out from this trade and come back towards large cap stocks.
Okay, I believe that the chart was of JSW Steel. I must point out that we were speaking about JSW Ispat special products, which is currently trading 4% lower and at 25.75. The next question that we have is from Anthony. And it's just such an interestingly framed question that I would like to read it out as it is. Reached a black hole on Hindalco. Can you help me with the bottom? Bought at around 480, thinking it's a good price. Kunal?
Very tough one because I think these metal stocks are getting clobbered quite significantly. For Hindalco specifically, I would believe that the stock may not have found a decent bottom even at current levels. So remember that for a stock to first establish a bottom and then move up higher, you would need a lot of positive news flows or demand coming back into the stock price. The only comforting point when I look at the data points across the globe, and for example, the Brazil's index Bovespa has started to get into a recovery phase. It's more commodity driven and it gives a first-hand indication of where the metal prices or the commodity prices could head towards over the near to medium term. So that index has risen up, I think 10% or 15% over the last 2 to 3 weeks. So maybe the stock is getting into a bottom formation process, but till the time you don't see a lift off in prices, it's going to be a futile exercise to average. I would expect that let the stock break out of the 420 mark. That could be the first time where you can look to start averaging, but don't average on the way down.
All right, this one is coming in from Sai Kumar, and this time I have the entire query in front of me. So he's saying that he's bought Axis Bank at a price of around 725 rupees per share, about 400 shares. He wants to know whether he should hold or sell for the next 3 months. Kunal?
I would suggest to hold on to Axis Bank. I think it's getting into a recovery phase now. Even if the charts play out to be a mild recovery for Axis Bank, the stock can come back to at least 700, 715 kind of a trading range. So even if it's a bounce back, you can take advantage of that bounce back and then probably lighten your position closer to your cost price. I would suggest a hold.
Okay, gentlemen, it's time to start the rapid fire segment and you're both familiar with it, so I'm going to launch straight into it. This question is from Naveen. He's asking about a medium to long term view in AB Capital. Do you have a view, Mr. Prabhakar?
I think it is a hold from my side.
All right, this one is coming from Danish Khan. He's thinking about buying Tata Power right now. Do you think it makes sense, Kunal?
I would suggest to wait now. My sense is that the stock has not completed its corrective phase. Possibly, the stock can even go below the sub 200 mark. That could be a point where you can look to start averaging.
Karthik from Chennai, sorry Karthik, I spelt your name wrong. Karthik from Chennai is writing in asking about Affle India. He's asking whether he can accumulate at this price. He's already holding at 1260. Kunal?
So as I said earlier, I think 800 could be a price where you can look to start buy Affle. That could be a point where you can look to start bottom fishing the stock.
Okay, Naval Kishore Singh is saying he's bought 100 shares of HSIL for 3 months ago. What should he do? He had bought it for the longer term. What's your take, Mr. Prabhakar?
It is better to hold at this point.
Pratiksha is asking about Ultratech Cement and Asian Paints. She points out that she's bought these based on the fundamentals. She wants to hold for at least 1 year. Mr. Prabhakar, should she buy?
Yeah, she can buy, but let it be in a staggered manner.
Okay, fine. This one is from Rancho Gupta again. In response to the LIC query that he asked, he wants to know which insurance stock is fundamentally a good one that he can look to invest in, Mr. Prabhakar.
HDFC Life and SBI Life looks good to me.
Okay. We've got a question coming from Mr. Subramaniam, who's asking about the merger of PVR Inox. How would you play this space, Mr. Prabhakar?
I think the merger is complementary. I think there is no arbitrage, so you can buy Inox or PVR. It doesn't matter.
All right, I believe with that, we've come to the end of the rapid fire. Thank you so much, Kunal, as well as Mr. Prabhakar, for joining us on the show and as always giving us your view on various stocks and sectors and helping resolve all the viewer queries. And viewers, all of those whose queries we've not taken today, don't worry, don't be disheartened. We will be back tomorrow, so do write in to us at 11 a.m. and we will try and accommodate as many queries as possible, and that's a promise from all of us. But for now, we'll slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now, but stay tuned more on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
Only on ET Now.
With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade.